Wardell Stephen Curry is unequivocally, undoubtedly, and undeniably a top 10 player in the history of the NBA. And no, I didn't stutter, and for those hoop heads out there who don't think that I know my basketball, please stay tuned and hear me out. Allow me to explain. I'm your host, Calvin Domingo, aka Steezy A. Smith, back at it yet again here. And I know he's already kind of laid out the case for me because what they gonna say now, right? But because it is my job to kind of knock some sense into people, totally joking by the way, then well, here I am. Here to explain why Stephen Curry, Wardell Stephen Curry, actually is a top 10 player in the history of the NBA. Obviously, the accomplishments, they speak for themselves. Like I talked about, he's kind of already laid out that case for me, but here, I'm just going to give you guys a little rundown, a little breakdown of some of those career accomplishments that he has. 4 titles, 8-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, 2-time MVP, the only player in NBA history to win 3 MVPs in the same season, the Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, and Kobe Bryant awards this past year, in which he won the All-Star MVP, the Western Conference Finals MVP, and the NBA Finals MVP. Now, I know that's probably the definition of a cherry-picked stat, seeing as how the NBA Conference Finals MVP awards were handed out just this past year, but nevertheless, it's a fact, even if it doesn't hold the most weight in the world. As we all know, he's the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made, and he's the only player in NBA history with 3,000 plus. He has 144 more than the next player on that list in Ray Allen, but he's done it in 7 less seasons. He's done it in 474 less games, and 129 less attempts. Now, out of all the players in the top 10 list of three-pointers made for an entire career, Stephen Curry is second as far as efficiency goes, with 43% of those threes made. And so the level of volume and efficiency in those threes is just absolutely incredible, and just, I don't even, at least be speechless. He's also a 2-time scoring champ. He's a 1-time steals leader. He's a franchise leader for the Warriors in points, assists, and obviously threes. And I know ESPN has pointed this out a couple of times, but he's one of 5 players with multiple MVPs, a finals MVP, and multiple scoring titles. You wanna know some of the company that he's in with? LeBron, MJ, Kareem, Wilt. He's one of 2 guards in NBA history to ever average 35 and 5 in the NBA Finals multiple times. That's alongside Jerry West. And he's second alongside of a Jerry West to MJ and LeBron in amount of NBA Finals series, averaging 35 and 5. Just one below MJ and LeBron. And now, he's the only player in NBA history to ever average 35, 5, and 5. That last 5 is threes made, which shouldn't be a surprise. And so not only is Stephen Curry the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made in the regular season, but also in the postseason. Only player in NBA history with 500 plus threes. And that number is only bound to grow. In addition, and for those of you guys that make the LeBron is better than MJ debate, you won't feel me on this one. But Stephen Curry, if he's playing in arguably the most talent-rich era/generation of NBA players, well, doesn't that hold more weight as far as what his accomplishments or what he's been able to accomplish in the league? I mean, he's won titles in the same era as prime LeBron, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, James Harden, a member of the All-NBA 75 team, matter of fact, in James Harden, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Paul George, Chris Paul, another member of the NBA's top 75 team. And he's also beaten young emerging superstars in John Morant, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic. In this talent-rich league, to me, that holds a lot more weight than what some of those other guys in the top 10 did. No disrespect, and I understand people complain and grumble about how, oh my gosh, when conducting these top 10 lists, it seems as if you gotta diminish one's greatness to uplift another. But that's kind of what it is, especially when you're splitting hairs, especially when the margins are so slim. That's kind of what you gotta do. I'm not disrespecting these guys, I'm literally just laying it out there for you. That's all, simply put. And for what it's worth, Chris Broussard, Stephen A. Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Reggie Miller, among other media members, all agree with me. Stephen Curry is top 10 all time. And these guys aren't just names. These guys aren't just random people. These guys know this stuff. They're not getting paid to say that Steph Curry's top 10 all time. They know this stuff. Especially Chris Broussard, Stephen A. Smith, These guys are some of the more renowned media members in the world, in the history of media. And those are two guys that I look up to and I respect very, very much. And so when they say something, I listen. People listen. And then Reggie Miller and Shaq, I don't gotta speak for them. They know what they're saying. The greatest shooter of all time, single-handedly revolutionized the league to where it is today. A three-point happy league. I mean, he's solely responsible for that. Just the gravity of Stephen Curry on the court. Or who in the history of the NBA has ever had that same effect where as soon as they cross half court, you gotta start playing defense? You know how many holes, you know how many driving lanes Steph Curry's presence alone on the court? He doesn't have to touch the ball. He doesn't even have to have the ball. It's as soon as he crosses half court, you need a man right there or you need a zone right there. Otherwise, he's a threat to pull up from anywhere, including half court, including beyond half court. One of the things that I feel like people don't really give him enough credit for is the fact that Stephen Curry is the most unselfish superstar in NBA history. And in my top 10, which I will touch on in just a bit, Stephen Curry is not only a top 10 player in NBA history on the ball, but also off the ball. And when we break down and look at some of these other guys on my top 10 or in my top 10, I don't think these guys were as great off the ball than Stephen Curry, because I think off the ball should also be a factor that people kind of look into, or at least that people consider, because not only is he the most unselfish superstar in NBA history, not only is he the best unconventional superstar in NBA history, but he's also the best off-ball superstar in NBA history. And people always only want to look at who dominates the ball and what they can do when they dominate the ball. How about when you dominate off the ball? Stephen Curry, anybody? So when you take all those things into consideration, another thing that I feel like people need to look at. Me personally, I have the Warriors dynasty ranked third on all my dynasties of all time. Now, you might call me crazy. Go ahead. Shoot, I might be crazy. But at the very least, that dynasty has to be considered top 5 all time. So how do you not have a player that was the best on a majority of those teams in the top 10 of all time? I mean, this is a dynasty, right? And the best player in that dynasty was Stephen Curry. So if I have the Warriors listed as a top 3 dynasty in the history of the NBA, then the leader, right, the bus driver of those dynasties, Stephen Curry, is an automatic lock to be a top 10 player of all time. And look, I get it. The cumulative stats might not be there. When you look at his points, or when you look at his career point total, 20,064, that's only 47th all time in 13 seasons. But a consensus top 10 player in NBA history, and in Larry Bird, is only 36th all time. So that gap isn't very big, and Steph Curry inevitably is going to cross that. And so I don't look at cumulative stats as some sort of threshold that Steph Curry has to clear to be in the top 10. Now, as far as assists go, he's not even in the top 50. And so, yeah, he definitely has to work on that. But like Steph Curry said, man, I mean, what they gonna say now? And I think because that's not there, right? He doesn't have the cumulative stats yet, but he does have in his favor, in his possession, or accolades or achievements that hold more weight than others. I mean, come on, y'all. The NBA's only unanimous NBA MVP in NBA history when we've had talent such as LeBron, MJ, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Tim Duncan, Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, Julius Erving. The list goes on, and Steph Curry is the only player in NBA history to win a unanimous NBA MVP. That holds a lot more weight, right, than some of these other accomplishments. And to me, when I'm looking at the top 10, 3 championships, that's pretty much the threshold, or that's pretty much the bare minimum to get into the top 10. This man has 4 titles in the last 8 years and 6 NBA Finals appearances in the last 8 years. And in those 2 years in which they didn't make it, Steph Curry missed the entirety of the year. Klay Thompson missed the entirety of both years. Draymond Green was missing seasons. And so these aren't excuses. These are just facts. And so when you're not on the court, obviously you can't produce. But for this homegrown dynasty, I mean, how do you not have Steph Curry in your top 10? I don't care if he's knocking on your door. He's kicked over that door. Like I said, unequivocally, undeniably, undoubtedly a top 10 player in the history of the NBA. What they gonna say? Seriously, what they gonna say? So, folks, take notes here. I'm gonna touch on my top 10 in just a second. But Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Stephen Curry, and Bill Russell. Those are my top 10 of all time. I'm sorry, and no disrespect to the late Wilt Chamberlain, but I had to remove him. I mean, 2 titles, and he has 5 such games with under 10 points in the NBA Finals. And then when considering the competition, I get it. I'm not trying to diminish his 100-point performance. I'm not trying to diminish his season where he averaged 50 points a game and over 20 rebounds. I'm not trying to diminish that at all. But he's also played alongside stars like Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and a plethora of other stars. And I know he ran into that Bill Russell in the Celtics wall, who had like 8, 9, 10 Hall of Famers on that team. And the competition, how many teams were in the league? How many? Not as many. There's 30 now, and this league is so talent rich. People say it's the most talented generation of all time. And so because of that fact alone, Stephen Curry's accomplishments, there's a little bit more magnitude. It holds more weight. You guys get what I'm saying? So take your notes. I understand it might sound blasphemous, it might sound foolish to put him in the top 10, seeing as how his career isn't even over yet, but I had to take out Wilt, and I think eventually KD will be in the top 10, Giannis will be in the top 10 of all time. Who knows, maybe another player creeps into the top 10, but Steph has managed, alongside the Warriors, to have beaten these guys in their primes and win titles in the same prime, at the same time, in the same era as these guys. And so a guy like Stephen Curry still has many more years to come. He's shown no signs of slowing down. Yes, he's 34 years old, but unlike other stars, his game isn't predicated on athleticism or blazing speed or this ability to leap, 50 inches, 40 to 45 inches in the air. Look, he could be 40 years old, still out there bombing threes, right? And I just think when you look at some of the quality of his teammates, Klay Thompson isn't a top 20 player of all time. And no disrespect to him, he's probably the second best shooter of all time, but Draymond Green also isn't the top 20 player of all time. We're looking at some of these other greats in the top 10. They played alongside superstars. Now, I'm not trying to take away those years in which Steph played with KD, but Steph Curry does have 2 seasons, which he was the best player on the title-winning team. I get it. You can hold that against him in 2015, where he didn't win Finals MVP when Andre Iguodala won it. But come on, y'all. LeBron still averaged 30+ in the near triple-double. So Steph Curry won regular season MVP that year, and yes, you can hold it against him because he didn't solidify that Finals MVP, but he was still the best player on that team. So he was the best player on 2 title-winning teams, not just 1. What they gonna say now? That's gonna be it for today's episode, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed. If Steph Curry is a top 10 player of all time, please be sure to shoot this video a like. If you don't think he's a top 10 player of all time, I'd like to hear your reasoning. Let's get into a debate. I'd like to argue with you guys. But like I said, if you learned a thing or two, be sure to take some notes and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you aren't already. Be sure to show us some love, drop a like, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, your family, your dog. Be sure to get it out there. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Last but not least, be sure to follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, @Steezy A Smith, on TikTok, @Steezy A Smith for more content, as we've been working very diligently to put more content and put more stuff out there for you guys to enjoy, not just on YouTube. But hey, as I always say, all glory to God, nothing but love, y'all. Steezy out. Again, this video is going to be dedicated to Mr. Todd Nas. While that concludes this video, we have loads of other content. You don't have to stop watching there. Other content on our channel homepage, as well as our social media platforms. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Nothing but love, and Steezy out.